This might actually be the most important thing in life too, right? Like we all say, oh, do sports because it represents life. This is it right here, 3 to 4 year time horizon. And then just take this and multiply it by 2. Because really everything in life is gonna be 7 to 10 years until you figure out that it's actually working. But this is in reality is like, one of my pet peeves is listening to coaches give cues, give technical cues, and have them be, especially at the high school level, like very abstract, sort of foo-foo-y, not directive, precise movement patterns, okay? And what I mean by that is, yesterday, I heard a coach say like, "Oh, you're losing tension in the implement," and when I hear that, I'm like, "What does that mean?" Okay, what is that? I don't understand what losing tension means. I don't understand how that can actually help the athlete throw. Okay, so the big goal that I want to cover today is go over the 5 major points in the throw. Okay. Then we're going to go through and you guys, so you'll learn the actual points of how we can sort of create these geographic locations. Then we're going to go through a flow of the throw so that we can connect everything together. And then we're going to get into some specific cues at each point. And then at the end, we're just going to do a little, like a non-negotiable of what you guys have to do to be really good throwers. Because if you're here on a Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, you guys want to be freaking good, right? So I think that's a big statement for you guys right away. So, I mean, has anybody ever had a cue from your coach where you're like, what are they talking about? Weeks, you better be raising your hand because I know that I have done that where I can also be that coach and oftentimes will give cues and then sometimes I take a step back like, what the hell was I even talking about? So, and this is where I will be quizzing you on, okay? When we're looking at the throw from like a biomechanics perspective, okay? And this is related to the spin. So rotation and the discus. How many gliders are in here? Shut up, Reese. Okay. So when we go down and we're throwing, I'll give you your own like one-on-one presentation around the glide, and then I'll try and convince you to spin. So, when we're looking at the throw, okay, there's 5 main points, okay? There's double support here. So this is literally like how researchers break this down. This is scientific. They'll say there's double support. Okay, so we're in double support here. And as we come out of the back of the circle, now we're in single support here, okay? So what is there? What are the first 2? What are the first 2 points? Double support and single support. Correct, there we go. Okay, so we go double support, single support. Then what's next is a little flight phase, okay? So the flight phase is when what? When we're not in single or double support. There we go. This is great. Okay, so it's double, single, in the air, and then we go back to, what would this be? Yep, and then this is double, okay? So there's 5 points. What's the first one? What's the second one? What's the third? Yes. What is the fourth? The fourth one. Yeah. And then Taylor, what's the last one? Okay, perfect. Okay, so we know the 5 points. Okay, so the big thing is that if we have 5 points in a throw, the next step is trying to simplify it even further. Okay, so one of the big things that I like to do is trying to make it. I am someone who, as a thrower, I was the worst person to coach. Okay, literally, I was the 100% worst person to coach. I was too thick-headed to think through things logically. I was too emotional, and I would try and overcomplicate everything. So all 3 things are just the worst person to coach. So if you're checking those boxes, try to fix that. Don't be like me. But so what I like to do as a coach is try and simplify all of those different points. Okay, so if I can take those 5 areas and then I'm going to simplify it even further. Okay, so when we're coaching the guys on site, anywhere from Loveland and Lincoln who are middle school all the way up to Alex Rose who just got third at World Championships. We're doing the same thing. Everything comes down to taking those 5 points and just saying, okay, for a right-handed thrower, sorry Lincoln, we're going to think we want to go with our right side around the left, okay? And then when we get to the front and our right grounds, we want our left to come around the right, and then we want the right to come around the left on the finish. And that was stolen directly from Justin Rohde. So if we think about this, okay, we take these 5 points of the throw, and we understand the geographic locations of the throw, and then we think even simpler, okay, let's just go right side around the left, left around the right, right around the left. Okay, so that's the first big aspect. So what is the, Taylor, what's the first point of the throw?
Getting over your left.
Well, what's the first like geographic location? I'm just quizzing you again on the beginning.
Double.
Yeah, we go. What's the second point? There we go. What's the third? Yeah, what's the fourth? That table. And then what's the fifth? There we go. So anytime that we're talking about this, I want to know, you know, and then going back to that like tension point, my whole question is always, where is it happening? Okay, 9 times out of 10, it's happening out of the back. Okay, and if we can think through how these things are happening, then we can actually see, okay, where is it occurring and what should each point look like? And yes, there will be snapshots of each point, but ideally it would just be viewed as one whole movement. But when we're starting to learn, and if we don't have, you know, 25 or 30,000 throws in, it's more important. I personally believe it's easier for you guys to chunk each frame together, and then once we get around 30 to 40,000 throws, that's when it really becomes a full fluid movement. Okay, so those are the points of the throw. Now, the next thing that I wanted to go over was sort of like a point and a discussion on how to watch a throw, so how you would watch it, but at the same time, we'll go through teaching you guys each position. So I'm going to go through what I like to focus on each part on how to watch a throw, and I'm going to tell you guys what I look at. And then we're going to stand up and we're actually going to go through this. So later on when we throw, we're already like an hour into the technical discussion and you guys understand where we're at. Then we're going to watch a throw and then we're going to do the non-negotiable stuff, okay? So if I'm looking at a throw right out of the back of the circle here, okay, I want to see in double support, where is the shot? Where's my weight when I get loaded, okay? The big thing here is where's my left arm relative to my right side, okay? And oftentimes I will look at the left foot, but to keep it as simple as possible, I like to see where's my left arm with my right foot pickup, okay? If my left arm's too far here and I'm still grounded, okay, typically I will fall in. If I keep my right arm here, I might fall in as well. So the first aspect that I want to look at is going to be related to, I'm actually taking these notes down so I can follow them a little bit easier, is just going to be that left arm right to that right foot. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is that I'm going to be looking at, once we get here onto the left, I want to see where's the left foot, okay, related to my right leg. What is my left foot doing? Okay, getting to here, okay? So the big aspect there is just looking at left foot, right leg. Yesterday I noticed a lot of you guys are sweeping, sort of like with your knee like this, and I would call that like a knee sweep. So we want to see, is the left foot open? Okay, is it open too much or is it open sort of just right in that sweet spot? And where is that right leg going? So everybody, let's stand up. Glider, I'm going to make you do this as well, okay? So from a basic perspective, I don't want, some of you guys coming out of the back of the circle are like this, okay? Sometimes it's okay if we're here. I would prefer if it's just sort of like level, right in line with the chest. And all I want you to do, if you guys saw Loveland throw yesterday, so she's in 8th grade and she threw 43 feet with a 4K last week. Okay, so she's legit. She naturally, one thing she did really well when she first started throwing was just, she would go into the circle and she'd just do this drill where she would load and then turn here and her weight would go over that left. And if you remember, we talked about the right going around the left. So if we have this long lever here that's level, and we have this out here, and if I'm turning, as Loveland does out of the back, that will help that right come around the left. So all I want you guys to do right now is open to here, and when the left arm gets here, and my left foot's at 90, I want to pick up. And I'm just going to go like that, okay? So it's real simple, level, pick up. So try and get that left foot to 90, level left arm, and then pick up. A little higher left arm. Give me like 5 reps. Turn that left foot a little. Yeah, and then pick up. Yep. And try and feel the weight on the inside of the left foot. A little more level left, just a little more level left arm. And I even think too, Taylor, you could stay here with the palm down a little more. Yeah, that's good, that's good, that's good. Give me one more. Okay, so this is like that first point. It's like load on the right, come over here and think like my weight is coming around my left, okay? Is that clear? Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, so all we were thinking about really was this, the left arm with my right foot, and my right leg can turn, and my left. So it's, if you're watching a throw, okay, look at like your own personal throw. Where's my left arm, okay? Is my left foot getting to about 90 when I pick up? Okay, so I'm going left arm, I can look at the left foot, and then I can look at where my right is as I pick up. So that's like the pickup point. The second point to really come around, and this is the hardest point for everybody, would be if I get to here, okay, and I push and I get to here, okay, I'm falling over already, I want to be balanced on my left side. So I want to have I don't want my right knee in, okay, because that could make my throw too quick already. I want to be able to get around my left, load that, and then attack, okay? So if I get here, the biggest thing I want to see is my left foot if the sector's here. My left foot could be anywhere from inside the right sector to middle, okay? If I'm outside of it, I typically will see people fall. If I'm over rotating my left foot, I typically will see a really late left foot to the front. So we want to get to, all I want you guys to do now is get to this position here, try not to do what I just did, where I'm balanced, my left foot's in line, my left arm is open a little bit, my right leg is long. So we can look at, okay, where's my left foot? Is it up through my head? Okay, here, and this is still level. It's not pulling me down, okay? If I pull down, I'm going to fall this way. I'm going to stay level and balanced, and the counterbalance to this is my right leg, okay? So that's the next thing I want you guys to think about is just go here and push all the way to like 180 right there and be balanced. So give me 5 of those. Yeah, good. And try and pause on that left foot. Pause there for like 3 seconds. Longer right knee away from the left knee. Pause on that. And one thing that we'll do in training is we will, and I'm going to talk about this later, this will be a drill that we use just to warm up, just to feel that balance point on the left. Okay, and when this position right here, okay, so the actual physics of the throw, there is a point of when the right gets wide, that's where it's like 85 to 90% of it's called angular momentum is created, okay? Coming off of the left is where the linear momentum is created, where you're going to be pushing to a point off the left to get that to the front as quickly as possible. Give me like 3 more there where I really want you guys to try and think about staying level and then being balanced when you get on that left. And that long right leg, I don't want to see any bent knees. And open that left foot more. Just a little more. Longer right leg. Who's a shot putter that you can think of that has a really long right leg on the sweep? Maybe Ryan Krauser. Correct, there we go. Ryan Krauser. Open that left foot could open a little more. And the whole point too here is that if we can think about when we get set, okay, out of the back of the circle, one of the most important part is how fast are you moving on the finish, okay? But we've got to hit positions to do that. And we don't need to go fast right out of the back. What we need to do is set it up so we can freaking go fast through the middle and then into the front, okay? So that's the first two. Now, the third part where we talked about with the flight phase would be if I'm here and I'm paused, I want you guys to think about if I have a circle, we might be just on the right side if I'm throwing this way, just on the right side. I'll try and draw a terrible drawing, but if I'm here and this is the halfway point, I want my right foot there and I want my left foot. One thing I will say is that I actually think, based off of conversations with Christoph and looking at some of the best throws ever, I actually think we should not be as deep with our left foot at the power position. Like typically, like I used to teach this in the power. I don't actually think that that's biomechanically the best, okay? And the reason being is we'll get into. But what I want you guys to think about here is that first X in the middle. If I'm here, I want to think sweep, push, okay? So it's like I'm here and I go sweep, push, and we want to think about that left foot passing the right when my right grounds. So I go sweep, push, left foot passes, and then I can hold my left side here in the middle. Okay, is that clear? So go back to this position where we're sweeping, and we go sweep, push, and we want the left foot to think about the left foot being in line with the middle of the sector. Okay? But start with your right foot this way, not back here like a South African. I want it wider here. Open that left a little more. And we want to be able to, so one thing that we'll do with our drill days right now is like all the way up, from the younger kids all the way up to the older guys, is that we will do this on a drill where it's like each point you guys should be able to pause at. You should have some type of balance at each point. If you have balance, you will have stability. If you have stability, you can apply more force. If you apply more force, you'll go faster. If you go faster, you throw longer, right? So if I'm balanced here, and I can just be comfortable getting to this point, and then I can be balanced here, right? And get comfortable here, staying balanced there, then I'm going to be balanced when my left comes down. So let's do like three to five more, and I'll try and yell at you. Yes, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, close. Try and turn the right a little more as you're going down. Right there, yeah. It's like sweep, push a little more, and that right will ground like this almost. Okay, so one great question was the flight phase discussion. Okay, when I first learned how to spin, I learned how to spin like this. Okay? And then people started to throw really, really far, not doing that, and everybody's going, oh, maybe we should stop doing this and we'll be moving faster at the front. Okay, so that question's great if we have a long right leg and we think down, and I want to think sweep down push, okay? Sweep down push. Now, I think this is where like the art of coaching will come in, is that I do not like this like really, really, really exaggerated down, okay? Because typically what I see is that athletes tend to be on the left too long, and they lose energy or they lose speed from the left foot being late at the front. So I like to cue this, and this is something that there's two, I'll talk a little bit here because we're going to get into the next point. There's two things that in the last 2 years, 3 years I've changed completely, is that I never taught pushing off the left, okay? And I never liked the cue pinching knees. Now, I like both of those. As long as the sweep, as long as everything else is good. And that's where I think if we go wide and we sweep down, okay, and when we get down here, I want to see the left foot almost passing the right.
Yes. Like right after contact, like
yeah.
contact and then movement. Right?
Yeah, or if you took like a still frame, like almost where the left foot would be like past the right foot as you ground. and a lot of athletes, I think there's a point of letting the left open a little bit and push. Okay, and this is, a lot of this was influenced, Alex's one cue was like he always did like to push off his left. He does like to push off his left. Taman, the same thing. And then the other aspect is with the, now as we get to the, we'll sort of mix the flight phase in with the double support at the front. So we'll sort of go flight phase, single, double all together here. The other aspect is if my knees, if you guys watched, the shot, the men's shot yesterday with Eric Favors, the left-handed kid? If you go back and watch, and maybe I'll pull up his video, you can see his knees get too wide. And when your knees get too wide, you're late at the front. And when you're late at the front, you lose hip to shoulder separation. When you have lower hip to shoulder separation, you lose speed on the finish. So I don't like this cue of like pinch the knees and we're like this. But if I see someone with Adam Nelson knees, I'll cue him on the knees pinching. Okay, so let's go back to, and with this floor, we could actually get set where if this is like the middle, like you can almost go right on a line here. We go out, so I'm here, and I want to think into the middle, and then now I want you guys to get the left down just on the other side with your left shoulder in line with your right knee. So land at the power position, almost with your feet neutral, and your left shoulder, if I'm facing this way, will be over my right knee when my left comes down. So let's start at the back position where we're sweeping and try to get that feeling down, okay? So we go sweep, push the left foot down and hold the left shoulder. Good, Taylor. Good, that's it right there. That was it, yes. Push off the left a little harder. So the big key here is, get the left down faster. The big key here is that when we push off the left, we've got to control the left shoulder. We can't let the left shoulder lead. That right could have come down sooner. And now what we're going to do, okay, go through this 5 or 6 times, okay? The biggest, when I talk so there's this mythical figure named Christoph Kipp, okay? And he's a researcher that I'm very close friends with who studies throws in labs constantly and in discus throw, all these places, right? He's just constantly watching. The number one correlation, okay, so to throw the farthest, it all comes back to whoever is moving the fastest on the finish will throw the longest, as long as your position's okay, right? But the number one correlation is hip to shoulder separation. So if my hips are here and my shoulders here, okay, I will have high hip to shoulder separation, and then what that leads to is high pelvic rotation and then torso rotation, high velocity on that. So the whole goal is that our left can, if you've ever seen, do you guys know who Yaime Pérez is? Okay, so if you've seen Yaime throw, she looks blocked off. She throws like her left foot's like a foot in front of her right. And for a year and a half, I was trying to fix this as her coach. I'm like, we got to fix this, right? And then she threw 73 meters, and she's, got third at the Diamond League twice, and I couldn't figure this out. And Christoph breaks down her stuff, and he's like, she has crazy hip to shoulder separation, and then what's crazy is that she's actually blocked off, but the discus is so far out away from her hip, it doesn't matter. Now, she's also learned in a weird way, and that's just where she's at. But to me, that was a light bulb of like, not that I want everybody to be blocked off, but it doesn't need to be as deep, because when we get deep, we tend to shift into the left, and then we're not actually rotating forward as fast as we possibly can. That's a little like side rant, so sorry on that one. Does that make sense?
And that's why what you're basically saying is this wide left leg at the front is causing issues with like either going around or not having as much power.
If it's too deep, yeah.
From out of the back, missing middle, and then late.
Yes. Yeah, late left, yeah. Yeah, late left means left shoulder. In most cases, a late left will mean a left shoulder leads. In high school kids, especially.
The left arm starts the throw, the left leg will end up late.
So in the start of the throw, I think if we think about the left arm is just like, we will all have a tendency to lead. It's like 95% of people will do this. So my whole thing is, I'm not saying that this leading is bad. I'm saying people are their tendency is so high, we need to think more from the right side. Okay, more lead from the right side. Because even though I'm a right-handed thrower, everybody, mostly everybody here is a right-handed thrower, we all tend to lead too much with the left side. And then we lose a balance. Okay, now here's what I talked about with your phones, okay? You guys get up, turn your phones on, okay? Set them up or get your partner, and we're going to go through the 5 positions, and you're going to film yourself doing your new technique, and then you're going to tag Throws You on Instagram and Ghostface D Milla. Gosh, I'm sweating like crazy. Okay, so get your phones out. Let's go. Start in double support. So we'll start in the double support, and we can just go easy. And this is another thing, guys. Take it slow. Throw it like 10%. Like go through it slowly. Because then as you're going through it, you're visualizing and you're feeling it. And you're not beating yourself up. You're just thinking, okay, this is a logical thing. I need to make sure I'm loaded. I get balanced. I stay balanced on my left. My right comes down and I stay loaded. My left comes down. I'm loaded on my right. And then I can go forward and smash the shit out of the finish. Okay, let's take the video. I'll try and yell at you guys as much as I can. Make sure we're level. Get that left down faster. And wider. So if your left is late, also get more weight on the left out of the back. Leave that left there, that left even quicker. Get that left. So go a little wider out of the back. Let your left foot open a little and then go. Even wider, left down faster.
Wider with the sweep.
Yeah, so that we get this way. You go, remember that simple cue is right around the left. We want to get wide around the left, okay? Close. I want the left down even sooner. I want it almost blocking you off. Even wider. So Taylor, I think you could open the left foot a little more and come down sooner with the right sweep.
Okay.
Now even there, I'd say go wider this way, okay? And the left's got to be quicker. Think about this, guys, like the whole simple goal would be my left big toe would almost be in line with the inside or like middle of, or almost like top of my right foot. And when I land, I want to land here. I want to be here, okay? So you're here, and then you can keep rotating. So there, the left foot could have opened a hair more. Okay. Just a little more.
Okay.
Does anybody need yeah, anybody need a videoer? Yeah, so when you think sweep down, push down, your left goes super high, left foot goes super high too.
You sweep with this and it comes up like this.
Yeah,
Go down,
think that knee, think the right knee as you pick up, my right knee would almost stay in line with just above my left knee.
So it's here with 5. Take a slicker shoe.
Yeah, better.
And what you're feeling is you're feeling like it goes slower, so I'm not delivering as much power to middle. Then you're always not getting to the board too tall, and then big left arm at the finish.
Where are your shoes at?
Put your shoes on. All right. Last week you sent me film. I swear to God, I measured it. You were flicking the air like this. I was like,
Okay, does anybody still open the left a hair more? A hair more. Does anybody have any questions on this? So you videoed. What are the 5 spots? Give me one. The 5 locations, like the geographic locations that we started in the beginning. Yeah, what's the second one? Single, then what's the next one? Then what's the fourth one? Yeah, and then what's the fifth one? Okay, and then we go right around the left, left around the right, right around the left, okay? And then we can review, go back to these videos. You say, okay, I got to hit these points. And then now we're going to go over, I want to show you guys a video that we'll watch. And I'm going to try and get through the non-negotiable stuff as fast as I possibly can. And I might just yell at you with those. Okay, so let's watch this. Okay, so this is Lincoln's my son, so I'm gonna highlight him. Now he also throws with the wrong side, so bear with us on that one. But if you think about here, what did we talk about like right at pickup? Okay. One thing we're talking about is him he might be trying to fix this little hunch here, trying to fix that. Also, Lincoln's in 8th grade, so like the whole goal is that we want to, this is like his starting point. This is his baseline, right? So we're looking at where is his right when the left picks up. Sometimes his right is a little too aggressive right there, okay? But at least he's loaded, but he could be a little more upright, which will help that right arm be under control. So that's the first thing we're looking at. Then right here, we want to see, as he enters, his left's going around his right. So if you're a right-hander, it'd be your right going around your left. He's pretty lined up here, and this is the point that really is what we were talking about that matters the most. Where's his hip relative to his foot? Is his foot in the bare minimum in line with the in his case, the left sector? So your left foot, or you guys over here, have to be in line here, at least in my opinion. And you can disagree with me, but then we'll just beat you. So the hip here should be as close to that right side in Lincoln's case, and this is not leading too much there. Does that make sense? And then when he grounds, let's say like right here, he's pretty well stacked in the middle. He might be a little short, but he's pretty well stacked. And what did I talk about with the you see his right foot? That's the I hate the new scrub on the, not that it's new, but this is what I'm talking about. I think this is advantageous. I think this leads to a higher speed on the finish. Weeks? Yeah.
Look at the shoulder compared to his left foot. His right shoulder compared to his left foot. It is pretty stacked.
Yeah, he's stacked up there.
Allows him to catch the shot deeper, which allows him to work on a longer path into the finish.
And this is like back, sort of here, we like to have the shot back behind the back foot. There's things he can clean up, but this is a pretty solid throw, okay? And then as he rotates, let's see here. Maybe he could stay down a hair longer, but that's a pretty solid throw position there. Now, I want to show you, I'm sorry about showing you lefties, but the discussion I had, the part I had made with Eric, I think you guys will be able to see, let's see, from this angle with pinching the knees. So Eric grounds, and you can see there how he's leaning a bit too much. You see that there's a bit too much space there, and he tends to lean right there, and then that when his right comes down, he loses that separation. So he could be pushing over around his right a little bit more right here. He sort of falls in. And then he is late coming off of his right here, and then his right knee gets too wide right there. You see that? Okay. Now, let's see here. I wanted to... That's the shot. This was from Sam's training yesterday, so I haven't even looked at this yet. Sam Mattis. Now, if we look at, if you guys can see here, he has a very strange technique, but some of the things that we're trying to improve is that his left foot would stop right there. Okay, so we want his left foot to stop. We want more weight around his left, out of the back. He throws 900 miles an hour from the get-up, okay? That's his strong suit. So one thing, his strong suit is his speed, okay? We don't want to take too much away from his speed, but we want to increase his range of motion a little more based off of the biomechanic analysis, and we want to get his right leg a little more active. So what we're trying to do there is he does stop his left foot, but then he's still falling with his hip, and he's a little late off of the left here. So you can sort of see when he grounds right here, he's almost like falling this way, and then he shifts into his left side early, doesn't have any high point, and his left, see how late his left foot is. So that's the big thing we're trying to fix with Sam to get him to break the American record, is that we want him to push this way more and to get a high point in the discus much earlier and for his left to come down. And if he does that, he will break the American record this year. So he just has to execute that.
Can I ask one quick question about the left arm going middle?
Mm-hmm.
In the last grade?
For Sam or for?
With him.
Okay.
And maybe directed to them too. If you see the left arm when you're coming center and it's all the way on the left side,
Yeah.
and you haven't delivered, how does this affect the throw? Meaning the left arm just continues to move to here. Instead of like,
Okay, so in the discus,
yes. Discus you might be able to go more, but in shot, in relationship to shot too.
okay, so that like somebody off the top of my mind would be like Jack O'Gill does that. If you can open and control and stay on balance, I think it's fine.
Okay.
I think there's like archetypes to look at, like 2 or 3 types of throwers. Now, if they're here and they go like this and then they fall this way and they have no sweep, you got to fix it.
Yes.
But if they can control it, if they're like Jack O'Gill, you don't want to change it that much. That's the thing with Sam, is like he throws so far because of how fast he goes, but he goes from 0 to 100 right away, but then loses range of motion. And because he's shorter, he needs as much range of motion as possible. So in his case, we can increase his range of motion by getting a high point, okay, and getting his right side to be just a little more active than his left, or at least the percentage-wise,
So active right will
relative to what his left is doing.
overactive left.
Yeah. So I think the way I see it is like there's like the Krauser model, there's the Joe Kovacs model, which is a little bit quicker with the left side, a little more aggressive with the left side in the shot. And if you watch the world champs this year, Munoz, who's the Mexican, okay, he is like a small version of Krauser, but his left leg was just a little late to the front on his big throw. So there's some, like, I think that dude could throw 2250 with the Krauser model as a shorter dude. So essentially, I think there's really like 2 types there. Roger Steen has his own weird movement. He actually throws the shot very similar to how Sam throws a discus. But I would say I would coach like, I see how someone moves, and then a young kid, and I try to put them in. I'm not like pushing them into this.
Find a technical model that they can be.
Yeah, and then it's like just little tweaks from what they're good at to what they're lacking without them losing too much confidence. Because the whole thing with the high school kids is like, we want them to stay in the sport. Like, I could tell them 900 things, but if they don't like coming to practice, they're not going to keep throwing. So that's the other thing is like, dude, there's sometimes like, no, screw it. Just do what you're doing because you're having fun. And that's more important. And also for me to have a business, if I wanted everybody to throw a specific way, they would stop showing up. And I would be bankrupt. And I would blame the kids, but it'd be my fault. Okay, so that's, does anybody have any questions as we looked at that? Because I do want to go over something quickly here. I want to, and we'll make this, since you guys are all here, I got a list of 7 things that we always hammer on. Because we got like, I think we have 7 minutes. Okay. This is where I want to talk about actually applied, because it's fun to break down technique, but it's also very easy for us to ignore the actionable things, okay? So in no particular order, what is one thing you have to do to be a good thrower? One thing in a week, let's say in a week, to be really good, what do you have to do every week? Throw a lot. Yes. How many days a week minimum? Like, and let's say we're a chick, we want to throw at least like 35 to 40 feet in high school, 45 to 50 feet in college. How many days a week do you think you have to throw? 4. Yes. Yeah, so let's say the non-negotiable. So if there's nothing else that you walk away, 4 days per week, okay? And if you throw 4 days a week, and you do it for 5 years, you're going to hit your goals. And you can do it. Like, you can actually do it. Now, when we throw, I'll say this quick, we have slam days, okay, where we throw as hard as we freaking can. We have range days, which is sort of like batting practice. We'll put marks out, and we try to get 25 throws within a range. Okay, so we're just dialed in. We're not worried about how far we're throwing. We're just worried about that consistent feeling. And then we have a drill throw day where we do about 50 to 60 drills, and then we'll take like 10 throws. So that's how we break down a throws week. Does anybody have any questions on how many days a week you should throw? And one of these days could be you're in your garage. So a lot of you guys will DM me, I can't throw, it's snowing outside, it looks like this. Go in your basement and do 50 minutes of drills. Do 10 minutes of drills. Don't bullshit me. I know exactly what you can do. Everybody who's able-bodied here can do 10 to 20 minutes of drilling every day. Stop lying to yourself, okay? Now, what would be the next thing that you should probably do? Yes, okay, now I'll say this. If we would go with lifting, I'll include plyometrics in here, ab stuff, traditional lifting. I said 3 days minimum. Yeah, I'm a goon meathead. I would like you to do 4 to 5, but let's say 3 days minimum. Okay, so 3 days a week. Okay, now, both of these. I know you guys are younger, you know, you're in high school, most of you. Some of you in middle school, some of you in college. But if you do these two things and you change your mind and you say, I'm going to do that for 5 years, not 5 months, not 5 weeks, 5 years, guess what happens? You throw really freaking far. Okay, so like change your time horizon with that. Okay. Number 3 I have, and this is a little bit more abstract, so I'm going to yell at myself on this one, is that I call it the thrower's wheel, okay? So don't do this. X over this. And this is the constant thrower's problem is we go to practice, we want to fix one thing, and by the 5th throw, we're trying to fix 9 different things. When you start practice, okay, so if we're going to go throw, every day for 3 months, you're only allowed to write 1 or 2 things down, and it's the same thing for 3 months. So we can say what you learned today, I want to fix my pickup point, or I want to fix being balanced here, and that's it. For 3 months, 2 things, period. And what ends up happening is you might fix it by like week 4, week 5, week 6. And you can move to something else. But if you didn't do that, you're going from 9 different cues, and then 3 months later, you haven't done shit. Okay, you're back at square one. So that's like this thrower's wheel that's just, everybody gets in their head. We start judging ourselves. I'm a bad person because I didn't throw far today. I didn't execute my technique. Wah. Just fix 1 or 2 things and recognize that you can improve that over a long period of time, okay? So focus on that. Get off that thrower's wheel. I already mentioned this. So I have a 3 to 4 year embrace this. This might actually be the most important thing in life too, right? Like we all say, oh, do sports because it represents life. This is it right here, 3 to 4 year time horizon. And then just take this and multiply it by 2. Because really everything in life is going to be 7 to 10 years until you figure out that it's actually working. But this is in reality is like, try to really buy into that long-term mindset, okay? And the one big thing too is like if you're in high school right now and let's say you're throwing 30 feet, 35 feet, and you're a girl and you want to throw 45, well say, look, I'll go to D3 or D2, whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm going, in 4 years when I'm a sophomore or a junior, now I want to try to hit 45 feet in 3 to 4 years, and you change that time horizon, and you change and you follow these patterns here. Does that make sense? Okay. Some of these I have already ranted on a little bit. Don't think a bad meet or practice defines you, okay? One of the athletes that I work with online, his name's Alex Pranger. He throws at Cornerstone. He threw discus yesterday, okay? I've made some crazy predictions in the group about Alex, okay? I've said that I think he can throw 65 meters, okay? Yesterday he threw like 51 and he's like all, like a little upset, but the big thing I talked to him about was like, look, it's one meet, and what can you take away from one meet? What can you take away from practice? What's your lesson today? It doesn't mean that you're a bad person that you threw 51 meters, and he's pretty level-headed, which is also why I think he will throw so far. But his takeaway was, hey, I'm changing a lot of stuff in my technique. I've gotten heavier. I'm trying to improve some other aspects. I think today's lesson was he opened up at 45 meters, and then by round 5 he threw 51. That's a big thing, and instead of him beating himself up, you take something away. So every single day in practice, every single day in a comp, you have some lesson. You're not a bad person. I would throw 16 meters when I was still throwing and think that I was this horrible human being. And it's like, don't do dumb shit like that, because that's just stupid. Does that make sense for everybody? Yeah, you're gonna throw far when you're happy. Okay. I got 2 more. These 2 here. One thing, Kevin Akins was here. He's a 70-footer back in the day. Okay, he reminded me of the one. And the first thing, study the greats. I put great, but the greats. Give me 2 discus throwers you guys could watch. There's one American that we should all be watching. Who is it? Valarie Allman. If we all just threw like her, we'd be throwing really freaking far, okay? So if we're looking at discus, and dudes, get over yourselves. Her technique's way better than yours. So watch her and throw like her. Okay, so Valarie would be one. Give me another one.
Sam Weeks.
Sam Weeks is 2. Sam Weeks is 2. Give me a third one. Cantor, great. Okay, watch the best and watch. We taught you on those 5 positions what you can look at. Look at those things on the greats. Okay, shot. Who can we watch? Krauser. Who else? Kovacs. Who? Chase. Sure. Watch what they do. Okay. Watch Chase when she's smashing the finish. Okay. Watch Sarah Mitten. Watch all of them. Watch Yaime. Watch everybody. Watch what they do at each position. Study them, and now go back to when you're writing down your goals. Like, okay, this is what I would think I can take away from this. Now, I wouldn't say try to be exactly like them, but then the biggest thing here is being a top-notch group, okay? Surround yourselves with good people. Surround yourself with a good group of people that aren't going to beat you up. They're not going to, yes, we can playfully make fun of you and stuff like that, but not make you feel like a terrible person. One of the things Kevin said yesterday, Kevin Akins, who was a 70-footer, and I'd never met this dude, but he was somebody that it was like a mythical legend when I was growing up. And he was like, yo, the best part about what you guys do, so this is a little Throws University plug, is he's like, you have a group. And you got a group of really good people that are intense and want to be really good. So I think the big thing here is surround yourself with people who want to be as good or better than you, but they're not spiteful. They don't want you to fail. They want you to succeed, and they're going to help you succeed, and you're going to help them succeed. Okay, so be in a really good group, and that's going to help you. These are really like the 7, I think, non-negotiables. Pair this with the technique, and this is going to get you guys to throw farther. Thank you. I'll see you guys later.